to acknowledge everybody participating here, members of the government, members of USAID, UNITAID, UKAID, and also everybody else here. ActionAid is also on the top of our list as well as a FAP, Dorcas, Plan International, members of the government, of course. We also have here with us members of the Department of Agriculture of Maputo Province, also of the National Institute of Irrigation, as well as FNDS and FIR. So without further delay, I would like to say thank you once again for being part of this project and of this launching, and we are set to start. This is an interactive meeting, so everybody should be open to participate. We would like to learn more than to give knowledge, because we know that the true knowledge is on that side more than our side. So make sure that you enjoy this meeting and that you take the best of it. Before we go any further, I would like to share our program. We're going to have almost 3 hours of interaction, starting at 9:30 and going up almost until 1 p.m. And for any more final remarks, I would like to invite somebody who is already family. Is somebody who is practically a Mozambican and just lives across the border in Zimbabwe. It's Mr. Washington Lovemore Dozua. Mr. Washington, please take the stand. I would like a big hand of applause for Mr.
Bon dia. Yes. Good morning, everyone. I liked what my sister did in introducing me. At times I wonder, I'm from 2 countries. My ancestors are from Mozambique, but I grew up and I was born in Zimbabwe. You go to Manicaland, you will find a village called Dozua village, but in Zimbabwe I'm called Dosa, D-O-Z-V-A. But here in Mozambique, it's Dosua, D-O-Z-U-A. So I am Mozambican, I am also Zimbabwean. It is a pleasure and honor to be in front of you all, to be asked to be the first one to speak. It's the most honorable thing, because my duty is just to be greeting you all, to welcome you all to this event. And when you are greeting people, it's a pleasure in that you are not supposed to speak much, but just to say you are all welcome for this event. I welcome you all for this event. And as we'll be engaging today, we want this event to be as much as interactive as possible. And I welcome our guest of honor from USAID. I welcome the government officials. I welcome all the partners here present today. I welcome the media people. I welcome our agro dealers and all the partners here in Mozambique whom we are working with. Most of you, we are working with you, but there are also others whom we intend to be moving into the future. So we anticipate this program to be as interactive as possible, and where you do not understand, ask as much questions as possible, so that after this function, we leave you well equipped of how we operate as Kickstart, and also of how we are working to help smallholder farmers. I welcome you all, and I hand over to the Master of Ceremony so that she can ask the next person to come over. Thank you all. I welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Duzu. He actually asked me to refer to him as family because he's from just across the border, and Kickstart is in some way a very big family. So I think most of us do not know each other, maybe those sitting close to each other on the tables, but I would like very quickly to ask each one of us to introduce in just the name and the title on the organization so that at the end of this meeting, we know who we can talk to about what, and we are closer to each other. So it's going to be a very quick exercise. I'm just going by table, and we are going to have 3 or 4 minutes of this exercise. Bom dia, para quem fala português. O meu nome é Berta Madime. Estamos aqui para apresentar o lançamento da bomba Moneymaker. Neste momento eu vou passar de mesa em mesa e pedir que cada pessoa se apresente nome e título na instituição que representa. Será um exercício de por aí 5 minutos e depois disso vamos passar para a apresentação da nossa equipa da Kickstart. Obrigada.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Peter. I'm from Kickstart, from Kenya. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alcide Lampion. I'm working to K2, Klein Karo Seed Marketing. I'm the sales agronomist for the Southern region, Mozambique. Thank you.
Morning, my name is Sergio Saka. I'm the country representative for the African Fertilizer and Agribusiness Partnership in Mozambique. Thank you.
My name is Tom Opapa. I work for Kickstart. Most welcome.
Bom dia, chamo-me António Santana, trabalho para a Agrifox, é uma empresa que vende produtos químicos.
Bom dia, chamo-me Eulália Reimane, eu sou a diretora de Operações e Compliance da IDE Moçambique.
Muito bom dia, chamo-me Elke Gomes, trabalho com Save the Children.
Bom dia, sou o Ataí de Sacramento, trabalho para Save Children, Maputo.
Muito bom dia, chamo-me Aida Luiz Mate, produtor de Xongwen, Gaza.
Bom dia, Justino Armando Pauca, produtor no Distrito Campoquano, na Associação Sombra Desenchada Bar do Jardim.
Bom dia, Érica Conselho, GIZ Cooperação Alemã.
Bom dia, Armando Júnior, Visão Mundial Moçambique.
Bom dia, aqui Mauro Cumbi, gestor de irrigação, aqui Casa do Agricultor.
Bom dia, Eveline Batalha, em representação à Casa do Agricultor aqui, sou gestora regional Sul.
Bom dia, Leitão Isabel, Ministério da Agricultura e Desenvolvimento Rural.
Bom dia, José Chambo, diretor da Divisão de Extensão Rural no Fundo de Fomento Agrário.
Bom dia, aqui é Ananias Timóteo, sou do Instituto de Investigação Agrária, setor da agroecologia.
Bom dia, Manuel Barbosa, da empresa Irrigar, de Sistemas de Irrigação.
Bom dia, Fauna Ibramugi, oficial nacional de programas na Embaixada da Suíça.
Bom dia, René Abílio, Chalfan de Moçambique, represento a organização em Moçambique.
Bom dia, Francisco José Manuel, técnico de Serviço Social de Atividade Econômica de Maracoene.
Bom dia, Fulgêncio Mendes, representante de vendas da Omnia Moçambique, na Zona Sul.
Bom dia, Bernardino Costa, gestor de projetos Plan International Nampula.
Laila Timana, representa a ONG Colima.
Bom dia, Jeremias Marimo, representante da Colima.
Bom dia, eu sou Emílio Magaia, venho da Faculdade de Agronomia e Engenharia Florestal da Universidade do Almonhã.
Bom dia, meu nome é Alexandrina Muxanga e venho da Faculdade de Agronomia e Engenharia Florestal.
Bom dia, meu nome é Bruno Araújo, também venho da Faculdade de Agronomia e Engenharia Florestal da UEM.
Bom dia, chamo-me Mary Roberto, venho da Dorcas Aid, Moçambique.
Bom dia, Aurélio Dovan, Instituto Nacional de Irrigação.
Bom dia, Manuel Miquitaio, Instituto Nacional de Irrigação.
Bom dia, Eldorado Jafete, ADPP Moçambique, Oficial de Parcerias.
Bom dia, Joaquina Muxinga, gestora de programas na Viam.
Bom dia, Morian Silvano, Viamo, Plataforma Manager.
Bom dia, Nilton Zandamela, Oficial de Programas PMA.
Bom dia, Antônio Massi, WeWorld GVC.
Bom dia, Inocência Mondlane, venho da Direção Provincial da Agricultura e Pescas.
Bom dia a todos. Meu nome é Carla Albino. Eu sou chefe de Departamento da Agricultura na Direção Provincial da Agricultura e Pescas de Maputo. Obrigada.
Bom dia a todos. Meu nome é Cíntia Naíra Algi, sou representante do Fundo Nacional de Desenvolvimento Sustentável, estou na área de desenvolvimento de negócios.
Bom dia, meu nome é Neide Irina, representante da EBSA.
Bom dia, meu nome é Almira Langa, representante da RAB Vestagro, gestora do Cava Limitada, que atua no ramo comercial.
Bom dia, meu nome é David Massinda, Diretor Nacional da Agro Mozambique.
Good morning. I already introduced my name. It's Washington Doza from Kickstart International.
Bom dia, sou Quentin Madaure, equipe para Limited.
Bom dia a todos. Meu nome é Munharazi Jambaia, representante de Global Water Solution.
Bom dia, Márcia Costa, sou a diretora de programas na Action Aid Moçambique.
Muito bom dia, eu sou Rosa Vicky e venho da USAID.
Bom dia, chamo-me Melissa Knight, eu trabalho com USAID, equipe de agricultura.
I would like to say thank you very much for everybody in this event. We would like to say, as a Kickstart family, that it's very important to have each one of you. We see that there are people from everywhere here. It's very good to know that everybody is really interested in helping and in being part of the Kickstart family. Of course, it would not be fair not to introduce ourselves. Once again, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Berta Madim. I'm part of the Kickstart family. And we are a very big number of people here. So I would like Mr. Pascal to come again once again and introduce the team. I would like, however, to say that in case you have any doubts, Kickstart family is wearing tags everywhere. So if you have any concern or doubt, you can have straight access to them. Just have access to the person wearing tags. Mr. Pascal, we can come.
Thank you. Our chief guest from USAID Mozambique, representatives of government, our good and loyal partners in Mozambique program, ladies and gentlemen, and all protocols observed. Good morning. I've heard people here saying bon dia. My name is Pascal Maitha. I'm the regional manager for Kickstart International for East Africa. And my work here is just very simple. We have a team from Kickstart that has come in to support the team here in Mozambique. And I thought, because they are mixed up in several tables, I thought we should do a quick introduction to them so that you can be able to know where they're seated. So as we are going through the presentation and you have a question or clarification, you can reach to any one of them and they can be able to give you explanation for the same. So quickly, I know we are not very many, but you can just make it at the front here so that we do a quick introduction so that we get to know who is here with us. We will start with the guys who are like our host here before we go to the guys who have just come to support them. Your name and where you're based.
Good morning. My name is Silvano Zenge. I'm the country manager from Kickstart Mozambique.
Bom dia. Meu nome é Charles Buleia, sou oficial de parcerias para Kickstart.
Good morning. I'm Washington Doza, in charge of Kickstart Southern Africa.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Nancy Muindi. I'm in charge of marketing and communications.
My name is Tom Opapa. I work at Kickstart as Director for Partnerships. Pleasure to have you. Looking forward to more engagement.
Good morning again. My name is Peter Juma. I work for Kickstart International. Pleasure meeting you guys in the morning.
Yeah, that's the Kickstart team that is here with us. Wherever they are seated, just know where they are. In case of any questions, any clarifications you want as the presentations are going on and the discussions are going on, let's engage them. We want to make this forum as open as possible. We normally believe in consultations. So let's be as open as possible. Any clarification, any discussion you want to do, we have a very good translator here. Even if there are language barriers, nowadays we can be able to bypass that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think at this moment we are already familiar with Kickstart and a little bit about the Money Maker starter pump, which is going to be launched today. I would like our president once again to join us here. At this moment we are going to understand a little bit more about Kickstart and also about Money Maker. Why do we need this? I think this is the core question that is going to be answered in the next minutes. You are free to gather questions, and in some minutes we'll be going to tables and requesting any questions that you might have.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you so much. I'm not sure if the screen is clear. If somebody can just. So thank you so much again. As you've heard my name, the third time is
Starter pump.
And I'm the president and the chief operating officer for Kickstart International. And I'm really delighted to be with you here this morning and just to appreciate you for your commitment, your dedication, and your sacrifice to grace this occasion this morning. The guest of honor, Mr. Arturo Acosta from USAID, and his colleagues, our distinguished guests, our partners, our great farmers, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's great to see you all here this morning. Again, as I said, thanks so much for your time to grace this occasion. I'm going to take us through a brief about Kickstart, what we do, how we do it, whom we work with, and why we do what we do. And why irrigation is very important to us, why our focus is on the smallholder farmers in sub-Saharan Africa, and why it is important to adapt to climate change, which is a phenomenon that is now here with us. So Kickstart is a non-profit social enterprise. It was founded in Kenya back in 1991, and with one simple mission, to lift millions of people in Africa out of poverty. And we want to do this quickly, cost-effectively, and efficiently. But before I give you a short presentation about our organization, let me briefly share with you a story of a farmer from my country, Kenya, that really inspires me. His name is James. James used to work in a coffee factory just on the outskirts of Nairobi City. He used to earn an equivalent of about $40 in a month at the current exchange rate in Kenya. He used to live in a servant quarters provided by his employer on the coffee farm. His family lived in the village. He asked his employer to allow him to garden at the back of his quarters to do some kitchen gardening, to just grow vegetables to feed himself. And then over time, neighbors started coming to buy vegetables from him. And James, being an entrepreneur, saw an opportunity. So what did he do? James quit his job at the coffee factory and started doing farming. So he rented a quarter an acre of land and he started irrigating with a bucket. It's quite back-breaking, it's a very tedious job. And you can only do so much in a day. In 2018, when we started developing the pump that we are launching today, James was among the few farmers that we selected to do the field testing of the prototypes. And within a period of 90 days, James had made enough money. He rented 2 acres of land and he employed 4 staff to help him on the expanded farm. Today, to cut the story short, James has made enough money. He's taken his kids to top private schools in Kenya. His wife is running a shop back in the village. He's built a big permanent house for his family. And late last year, when I visited James to find how he's doing, when I go to the farm, he had just harvested cabbages from a half an acre of land. And I found the off-taker was just carrying the last batch of the harvest. I asked James how much he had sold the produce. And he told me 270,000 Kenya shillings. That is equivalent of $2,100 US. So that's a lot of money. So I asked this young man, so what are your plans for the future? And James told me, Peter, my desire has been to buy a plot of land in Nairobi. Land in Nairobi is very expensive. And he told me he has been saving money, and he's about to hit 5 million Kenya shillings, which is about $300,000 US, to buy a plot of land in Nairobi so that he can build rental houses. That's a story that inspired me so much. But let me tell you about Africa and why solving extreme poverty there may be the world's biggest and most urgent challenge. Today, Africa has a population of just over 1 billion people, and almost half of them live below the poverty line. 30% of these go to bed without food. And 40% of the children under 5 years are stunted. That's a very big problem. We are losing the future generation of this continent, and something has to be done. And Africa imports $40 billion worth of food each year. Yet it's a continent that has the best climate. Everything is just good. It can work for Africa, but it's not working. And while the rest of the world, the population growth has slowed down, and in fact it's projected between now and 2100, the rest of the world, the population will just grow by about 1 billion people. In Africa, it's expected to grow by 3 billion. By 2050, 2.2 billion, and by 21, 4 billion people. Yet, today, Africa is not able to feed itself. And Africa is now bearing the brunt of climate change. We have seen things that we only used to see on television, cyclones happening in America, but they are now right here at home, here in Mozambique, in Malawi, in Zimbabwe, and in the southern tip of Africa. They are now experiencing this phenomenon of climate change. And Africa carries the poorest people in the world. Over 80% of the poorest live in Sub-Saharan Africa. Most of them just trying to eke out a living, doing some farming on their small plots of land using rudimentary agricultural practices and equipment. And so they are making very low yields, making very little income, and they cannot afford the inputs that some of you partners here are even selling, like seeds and fertilizers, because these people are trapped in a cycle of poverty. And by far, the best way for them to make a lot more money is to switch from rain-fed farming to irrigated agriculture. And why is this important? Because we know that with rain-fed farming, farmers grow low-value staple crops. They can only afford one, at most 2 harvests in a year. And because they are growing at the same time, they go to the market at the same time. When the markets are flooded, so the demand is very low, they don't make a lot of money from their produce. And as a matter of fact, 40% of the food that is produced with rain-fed farming is spoiled before it is eaten or even taken to the market. And if the rains fail, these farmers, they lose their crop. Or if there is a natural disaster like a flood and all their crops is swept away, they lose everything. But with irrigated agriculture, these farmers grow high-value crops. These are the fruits and the vegetables. They can do multiple harvests in a year, not just 1 or 2 years. They can sell year-round instead of only selling during the bumper rain harvest. And because they are doing this during the off-season, which is the hungriest season, they make a lot of money because people just come at their farm to buy the produce. And if the rains fail, because they have a source of water and they have an irrigation tool, they can save their crops with the irrigation. And so we are saying we want this farmer to transition from failing subsistence farms to profitable family farms. Let us just break this further down. So how do farmers make a lot of money, and how do they adapt to climate change by irrigation? We know that through irrigation, they can grow and sell high-value fruits and vegetables. during the off-season. And that is between the rain-fed harvest. Remember, in a country where you can only afford one rain season or one or two rain seasons, it means in between 6 to 8 months in a year, most of these rural folks don't have food and they don't have income. So with irrigation, you can even that one out. You can grow during those hungry dry season, and at that time you make a lot of money. You can avoid the rain-fed harvests where the market is facing a glut because everybody is going to the market at the same time since they are all growing at the same time depending on the rain. And they can plant and harvest and sell multiple cycles of crops per year. If you just take most of the African green vegetables, they have a gestation period of about 90 days. And some of these you can actually, like in my country, Kenya, there is a vegetable called sukuma wiki or kales in the English language. And these are vegetables that you just keep on harvesting, it regrows. And so it means every day you can at least be making some money by just selling that crop. And how do farmers adapt to climate change with irrigation? We know that with the climate change, the rains are no longer predictable. They come at different times, they start and then stop. So it just starts raining half in the month of February, and in 2 weeks' time or in less than 2 weeks' time, the rains stop. And sometimes they are now coming with more big storms and floods, just like I just explained a moment ago. And we are now facing longer and hotter dry periods. And in some cases, the rains completely fail. In some countries, it has not been raining for quite some time. So with irrigation, farmers can plant and harvest crops year-round independent of the rains. They really don't need to depend on the rain. They can manage the climate themselves. And they can do year-round food and income security and become resilient. And of course, they can save their crops when the rains fail and then replant all their crops and quickly do this in case there is a natural disaster like floods. So irrigation is by far the best way to address the problem of food and income security in sub-Saharan Africa. We know that 20% of the farmland globally is irrigated, producing 40% of the food that is eaten. While the situation in Africa is very stark, in other parts of the globe, a lot has been done. In India, over 50% of farmland is under irrigation. In Asia, it's 40%. And 70% of this is done by individual smallholder farmers. No wonder these continents never face the same problem we are facing here in Africa of food insecurity. But can somebody guess what is the percentage of farmland in Africa that is under irrigation? It's just 4%. And most of this is concentrated in the southern part of Africa, in South Africa and Madagascar, which is not even on this map, and in Sudan. And most of this is on large-scale farms. So the situation in Africa needs to change. When the rest of the world, they are talking about over 40% of their farmland under irrigation, we are only at 4%. This needs to change if we need to address the problem of hunger, malnutrition, stunting in growth of children, and even income insecurity for our people in the continent. So, yet there is a huge potential for irrigation. We are only doing 4%. And the potential is there. Why? Because there are many sources of water that can easily be lifted into the farms to water the crops. They are all over. Everywhere you go in our rural areas, you will come across shallow hand-dug wells, tube wells, flowing rivers, streams, lakes, hand-dug wells, or built rainwater catchments They are all over. Everywhere you go in our rural areas, you'll come across sources of water that can easily be tapped and be put to good use for irrigation. So the potential is there. It's not that we are lacking. But Sub-Saharan Africa uses less than 10% of its renewable groundwater. If you go to a lot of southern part of Africa, in places like in Zimbabwe, you don't need to dig very far to get to water. So the resources are there, they just need to be tapped. And we are using less than 5% of our renewable surface water. And so, but we know that about 20% of the farmers in sub-Saharan Africa, they have surface or shallow groundwater on their farms. And why is this? Because we know historically, if you go even and read your history books, those that did history in school and in colleges, we know that people mostly settle in areas where there is water. So that alone tells us that in most of the places where people are living, there is a source of water that can be easily tapped and be put to good use. So the sources are many. We just need to find a way how we can tap this and put good use. But promoting irrigation on the continent is a tough job. There is almost no history of irrigation in sub-Saharan Africa. And why is this the case? Because as I said, we've had the best climate. Rainfall has been very predictable in Africa. Our forefathers never saw the need for irrigation because it was obvious it was going to rain. In my country, Kenya, we used to have 2 predictable rain seasons. In fact, sometimes even 3. So you could do 3 harvests in a year. In some places, it was 2. And it was so predictable. People used to know when to till the land, when to plant, and when to harvest. And that's why we don't have a history of irrigation. People never saw the need for irrigation. The other challenge we have in sub-Saharan Africa is our rural areas don't have the right infrastructure. So we don't have electricity connected in our rural homes. And so giving a farmer an electric pump does not help them. And we don't have fuel in the rural areas. In some of the places, it might take somebody about 20 kilometers to get to the nearest petrol station to buy fuel. So giving a farmer a petrol pump does not help. And so, and the other problem, there's very limited knowledge about irrigation. So how do we address this challenge? To combat these rural challenges preventing smallholder farmers from their agricultural activities, Kickstart offers a solution. What we do, we design and promote very low-cost human-powered pumps. Human-powered because of the challenges that I've just mentioned. We don't have electricity in our rural areas. Fuel is not readily available in rural areas. And if it's available, it's very expensive. So we need a technology that the farmer can easily use without the need of making any further investment after acquiring it. And our technologies are irrigation pumps called money maker pumps. Why we call them money maker? Because we know the number one need of a poor person is a way to make money. Because if you have money, you can address every other problem that you have. With money, you can take care of the education of your kids. With money, you can buy clothes for your family. You can build a house. You can just do everything. And especially in Africa where we live in a cash economy, we need cash. You need liquid cash in your pocket to just do anything. If you want to hike public transport, you need money. If you go to the market to buy vegetables, you need cash. So that's the number one need of a poor person. So our pumps are money-making pumps. We want the farmer to acquire this pump and start making money right from their farm. So money-maker pumps are designed at our Technology Development Center in Nairobi. We manufacture them in China. We used to do manufacturing in Kenya and in Tanzania, but when we expanded across the continent, it became untenable, and so we do the manufacturing in China, and then they are distributed across the countries that we operate, as I'm going to show you. And we follow a very stringent design criteria. We use a farmer-centered design criteria. This means we look at the gaps the farmers are facing and design the pump to address those gaps. Moneymaker pumps are designed to perform and give value for the farmer's money. And so what we are saying, within a period of 90 days, between 3 to 4 months, a farmer that acquires a moneymaker pump should have made enough money to make full recovery of the cost of the pump. And we have impact studies that prove that. So we don't want a farmer to take 2 years to recover the cost of their pump. Most of the farmers will not do that because most of them are very poor. That's how we design them, that within a very short period, the farmer should have recovered the full cost of the pump. So we design them to be very cheap and affordable. They are strong and durable. We don't want things that break down. It has taken us since 2018 to develop the pump that we are launching here today. When you look at it, you might think it is a very simple technology, but that's the journey it has taken us. Why? Because we want this technology to be durable. We know we are targeting the most vulnerable people of the community. We don't want to give them things that break down. These pumps they can be used in any type of water, very dirty water. Some of the pumps we have out there, the solar pumps, the petrol pumps, and electrical pumps, they can't pump dirty water. They'll break down. Moneymaker pumps, they work in any type of water. They are gender friendly because we know over 50%, actually almost 60% of most of the smallholder farmers in Africa are women. So we design the pumps to ensure that they are gender friendly, can be used by our ladies. They need to be easy to use, to install and maintain. So you do not require any tool. You don't need a spanner, you don't need a plier, you don't need a hammer when you buy a moneymaker pump. Because these farmers don't have those tools in the first place. So you don't want to create a burden for them when they acquire another tool. So we design them that these pumps, the farmer can fix them with their hands. And there are very few breakable parts on that pump, as we are going to show you during our demonstration. They are efficient to use, so we are not using a lot of water, and they are portable. The farmer can carry it easily to their farm, and they are manually operated, so you do not require fuel or electricity. To date, we have developed several pumps, but the flagship pumps that we have been selling over the years, one of them is not the Moneymaker Max. We sold about 300,000 of these pumps. This pump can suck water from a depth of 7 meters. It can pump up to a height of another 7 meters. On a flat ground, it can pump up to 200 meters. It's efficient, uses pressurized hose pipe. It irrigates about 2 acres of land. And on average, it's retailing at about $195 per unit. And the pump comes complete with all the spare parts and accessories. And then we thought that pump was a bit expensive, $195 to $200, still a lot of money for most people in sub-Saharan Africa. So we designed a cheaper pump. We called it Moneymaker Hip Pump. This pump, you operate it with a rocking motion. It looks like a bicycle pump. But for those that have bicycles and you pump it when the pressure is down, the bicycle pump, how you operate it like this. And you get tired when you are pumping like this. So your biceps get very tired very quickly. The hip pump, you operate it with a rocking motion. So it has a lever at the base, as you can see at that base. So it's on that lever that you operate it. So you don't get tired. Unlike the bicycle pump that you pump and you get tired very easily. So again, that pump can irrigate about a quarter an acre. Also draw water from a depth of 7 meters, pump to a height of 7 meters. On a flat ground, it can pump up to 150 meters. on average is retailing at about $115. And these prices I'm mentioning, these are average prices depending on the country. It could be lower, it could be slightly higher because some countries have duties and taxes. Other countries have subsidies, like in Rwanda, the government of Rwanda provides a 50% subsidy on all irrigation equipment. So this pump in Rwanda will only go for about $50 because the government will pick $50 of it and the farmer will only pay $50. In some countries, they have they exempt agricultural equipment from duties, VAT, and other taxes. But this is assuming all the costs included. To ensure that the pumps reach the farmers and the partners easily, quickly, and efficiently, Kickstart establishes private sector supply chains. So we must produce these pumps in China, and then they are imported into the countries where we operate by importers, and these are distributors, so we have signed up distributors in each of the countries where we operate. And these distributors, they sell these pumps through a network of retail dealers or agrovet shops. Here in Mozambique, we have two distributors, Fomex, that has been importing and selling these pumps for about close to 8-10 years or thereabout. And we've just signed up a new distributor, Global Water Solutions. Between them, they are serving about 54 plus agro dealers across the country in central, northern, and southern Mozambique. And then across Africa, we have dealers all over. And then how does Kickstart reach, educate, and build capacity for the farmers? We do this by partnering with organizations that work with the farmers. These are international NGOs, local NGOs, microfinance institutions, businesses, governments, those both local and central governments, who are working with thousands of farmers, and we want to introduce irrigation into their products. Some of you guys are represented here on that list. We are working with governments, government of Angola, Malawi, Mozambique, Nigeria, working with the state government of Kano. They are buying money-maker pumps, giving them out to farmers for the irrigation activities. So to ensure that there is awareness, that the farmers and the partners are aware about the right irrigation solution, the right technology, how to do the right agronomy practices. So we partner with some of our partners to promote these irrigation pumps. So we carry out field demos, we do exhibitions and shows, we do radio and TV talk shows. We invite partners, our staff, government officials who come and just talk about irrigation. We offer training. We do TOT training of the trainers. We offer agropreneurship training, basically training the farmers to take on farming as a business. And we provide all these services to just ensure that people are aware about irrigation pumps, and the impact of climate change. And we also measure impacts, and our impacts have shown that farmers that transition from rain-fed farming to irrigated farming, on average, they make about $700 increase in profit. So from $200 in doing subsistence farming to about $900 doing irrigated farming. Because we know with irrigation, you can do year-round harvest, you can sell throughout the year, you increase your income by about 4 times, and then you can plan for the future and make a major step out of poverty. And we work in 17 highest potential countries, sub-Saharan Africa, organized around what we call regional hubs. In East Africa, 6, Southern Africa, 6 countries, and West Africa, 6 countries. The countries in red, those are our regional headquarters for the countries where we operate. So for sub-Saharan Africa to feed itself, survive emerging threats of COVID, global inflation, we need to increase the current farmland under irrigation from our current 4% to at least 20%. Doing this will help us create millions of livelihoods for our rural communities. It is also through irrigation that our smallholder farmers will survive the effects of climate change. And as I said, the potential for irrigation in sub-Saharan Africa is huge. There's renewable groundwater and surface water that can easily be tapped. And studies have shown that about 100 million smallholder farmers have potential for irrigation, and we can change this from our current 4% to, if we can move this to 20%, the continent can feed itself. And we need to address hunger to prevent a lot of calamities, global instability, mass migrations, and of course, save millions from starvation. So, there are growing threats that needs to be addressed. Of course, climate change, as we've talked about it. All of us are now much aware about the COVID that we are still surviving through. And now, the whole globe is suffering from inflation. Inflation is ravaging all the countries. Of course, it's worst here in Africa, which are causing food and income insecurity, causing insurgencies, refugees, and internally displaced people. Even here in Mozambique, one of our partners here from Action Aid will be talking more about a project that we are just working on to help the internally displaced people. So money-maker pumps can help farmers survive these threats. They become sustainable, resilient to livelihoods because they do year-round farming. They can run profitable farm. With the money they make from the farm, they can invest in other enterprises. They can adapt to climate change. We empower women and girls, and it will lead to improved food security, nutrition, health, and mental health for our children. Moneymaker pumps can also de-risk loans. We've done a project with Vision Fund in Zambia, and we have found out that farmers who are doing irrigation, they do not default on their loans, on their micro loans. Why? Because they are able to do year-round farming. They are making money throughout the year. They are able to repay their loans with ease. That is different from farmers who are depending on rain-fed farming. Because if the rains fail, the farmer doesn't have money, and it means they will not be able to pay their loan. So the farmer fails as well as the microfinance institution. But irrigation is a de-risker for these microloans. Of course, we said more and better education for the kids. I just gave the story of James at the beginning. Improved household hygiene, more and easy access to water. Of course, environmental protection. You know, we talk about people protect the environment. But let me be honest with you, people will not protect the environment when they are hungry. You have to address hunger first before people can protect the environment. So we need to find a way how people can be able to feed themselves, and then they'll now be able to protect the environment. And then, of course, our pumps can help towards that environmental protection because with moneymaker pump, we use very minimal amount of water compared to other flood irrigation technologies. And of course, we also help in reaching the UN SDGs. Today, our impacts reads as follows. We've sold over 380,000 of these pumps. We've lifted about 1.4 million people out of poverty, and about 14 million people are fed with fruits and vegetables each year by the use of moneymaker pumps. So, Sub-Saharan needs to reach 20% irrigated as soon as possible to feed itself, create millions of livelihoods, and survive climate change. And how we are going to do this, Kickstart approaches this through three strategies. Number one, we innovate new technologies and methods required for millions of smallholder farmers to irrigate. So we provide the moneymaker tools. Number two, we widely promote and distribute these new innovations through partnerships and private sector supply chains. We want to live in place sustainable supply chain model. And as I said, the distributors that import these pumps into the countries, these are commercial enterprises. They are in business to make a profit. So everybody within the value chain makes money. The distributor makes money, margin, the retailers also make money. And that ensures there's a sustainable supply chain, there's availability of spare parts, which is a very big problem for a lot of technologies. And finally, we help the farmers to meet their goals by helping them to introduce smallholder irrigation into their programs. A lot of you people seated here, you can attest to this as you are going to hear some of the testimonials from some of the partners that are already benefiting from this. So we really need to massively collaborate to irrigate Africa. And to do this, we are happy today to launch our newest, most affordable irrigation pump on the continent, if not on the world, called the Moneymaker Starter Pump. This pump, as I've said, it's taken us years to develop. It's the lowest cost pump so far in the market out there. It can draw water from a depth of 6 meters. It can pump to a pressure head of 7 meters. On a flat ground, it can pump up to 150 meters, and this pump can irrigate at least 3/4 an acre of land. We've seen in some places, even farmers doing more than 1 acre of land with this pump. They're already being promoted in countries like Kenya, in Rwanda, and in Uganda, where we've already launched this pump. It's very, very easy to use and to operate. So it's very light, only weighs about 2.5 kilograms. And it's coming with a new accessory we are calling a surge chamber. You are going to see all this when we go out there for the demonstration. And the surge chamber is to ensure the continuous flow of water as you are pumping, and can power sprinklers as well. And on average, again, as I said, across the 17 countries where we're operating, the price range is between $80, $85 to $100. Again, as I said, depending on other factors, so things like transport, government taxes, inflation, and all that. So join us today as we launch the Moneymaker Starter Pump, and we invite you to join us to irrigate Africa. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And well, as a little summary of we have just heard, this is the day in which we launched the new project, which is the Moneymaker pump. And this is an upgrade of our previous pumps, which Mr. Peter Juma was now explaining to each one of us. I would like to leave a small challenge before we go any further with this. I have a present with me here, in case somebody by the end of my explanation remembers how many percent of lands are irrigated in Africa. So you can keep thinking about that. But as we talk about what Mr. Peter Juma was saying, he was explaining that the launching of this pump is taking place today, but it's a project that has been on the paper for more than 4 years now. And the idea is that this is the lightweight, a very lightweight pump. It's not more than 2.5 kilograms, which, if you have an idea, it's pretty much 2 big bottles of water, and you can carry it from home to whatever you want. I think even a child can carry that weight. It's not that much weight, actually. It's not much. It may be 2 to 3 kilograms, not really much weight. So, and the capacity is very big. I was talking to one of our partners and also one of the people that are going to be here explaining how they use the pumps, and they were explaining that this is very easy to use. You can carry from home to wherever you work, and this does not influence in anything when it comes to the performance of the pump. So along with that, we have so just like I was explaining here, along with that, it's a very cheap pump. Mr. Peter was explaining that it depends on the country. In Mozambique, this is going to be on average from $80 to $100, which it's going to not be more than 6,000 meticais. So it's a cheap pump that is going to be available all around the country. We are going to be talking more about this in the next minutes. And long story short, the solution for Africa is to irrigate, is to make sure that we do not depend on rain, we do not depend on climate change, because the idea behind Kickstart is to promote better livelihood and to guarantee that climate change is not a problem for the people who depend on farming every day. So I think this is the core idea of what Mr. Peter Juma was sharing with us here. And I will also be sharing with our Portuguese-speaking public the same idea. O lançamento da bomba Moneymaker Pump hoje tem a ver com a melhoria das condições de vida das famílias moçambicanas, principalmente aquelas que vivem nas zonas rurais. Nós entendemos que é preciso que haja uma bomba que ajude, mas que também seja prática para ser comprada e ser utilizada, porque muitas vezes as pessoas até têm acesso a bombas, mas pode haver a situação de como transportar uma bomba de 5, 10 quilos. E também, ainda que tenhamos uma bomba, e se não tivermos combustível, não trabalhamos. E se não tivermos dinheiro suficiente para pagar aquela bomba, não trabalhamos. Então, a ideia por trás da Kickstarter e do lançamento da Moneymaker Pump é garantir que todas as pessoas têm acesso. Como eu estava a dizer, o preço da bomba vai variar de 80 a $100, que é uma média de 5 a 6 mil meticais. E é uma bomba extremamente leve. Se nós formos a pensar, são no máximo 2 garrafas de água. Uma criança de 5, 6, 10 anos pode carregar confortavelmente esta bomba e isso não influencia de modo nenhum na performance da própria bomba, o que significa que esta, que é uma atualização das bombas que já vinham sendo produzidas pela Kickstart, é uma inovação que vai ser muito útil e muito prática. Well, coming back to our program now, we will have our next partner coming now to talk to us. It is going to be Miss Marcia Cossa. She's the program's director of ActionAid. ActionAid has been working with Kickstart for quite some time now, and they are supporting victims of terrorism in Cabo Delgado. Miss Marcia is going to be sharing more details with us. Please join us, Miss Marcia, here now. I would like to ask you to clap your hands for her.
Bom dia. Eu vou falar em português. Bem, estou aqui a representar a ActionAid, que é parceiro da Kickstart. Estamos juntos numa iniciativa que visa promover a resiliência comunitária e empoderamento socioeconômico. Em Cabo Delgado, estamos a trabalhar em 4 distritos: Moeda, Metuge, Chiuri e Motepuez, no âmbito de um projeto que é financiado pela USAID. Dizer que é no âmbito de um consórcio constituído pela ActionAid, Kickstart e Aviamo. O projeto tem um período de 4 anos, iniciou formalmente no ano passado, e estou mesmo muito emocionada e satisfeita por estar aqui hoje a testemunhar o lançamento desta nova bomba, que é, na verdade, fruto das discussões que vínhamos tendo com a Kickstart, com a Aviamo, a quando da produção e elaboração deste projeto. Estamos a pensar qual seria a forma melhor de facilitar o acesso à irrigação para os camponeses. E como sabem, o contexto de Cabo Delgado é um pouco delicado por conta dos ataques terroristas e temos situação de pessoas deslocadas internas em que grande parte deles não tem acesso à terra porque estão a sair de um distrito para outro, né? São vientes ou são imigrantes dentro da sua própria província. a maior parte deles não tem acesso à terra e os que têm uma terra bastante limitada. Então, pretendemos com este projeto, naquela área limitada, fazer com que os camponeses consigam produzir maior quantidade possível de vegetais e frutas. Então, nosso foco vai estar mesmo para vegetais e frutas e esperamos conseguir abranger pelo menos cerca de 8.000 camponeses através da distribuição de 2.500 bombas. Gostaria também aqui de agradecer a presença de todos. Pude ver durante a apresentação que temos uma representação bastante significativa das diferentes camadas e desejar a todos um bom dia e uma boa... que o encontro seja bastante produtivo. Pude ver que, para além dos doadores, temos aqui também representantes do setor privado, representantes do governo e das ONGs. E acredito eu que todos nós juntos iremos conseguir promover mais senhores James em Moçambique. E queria também apelar e pedir a todos para abraçarmos juntos esta iniciativa e outras que visam promover a irrigação, porque, infelizmente, em Moçambique, as percentagens que foram aqui apresentadas sobre o nível de irrigação, não vou dar a resposta, né, agora, mas o nível de irrigação, eu acho que para o caso de Moçambique não foge muito e acredito que todos os esforços são necessários para conseguirmos melhorar a área irrigada no país e assim conseguir também melhorar o nível de produção e produtividade e reduzir o nível de importação, principalmente de vegetais, quando nós temos aqui no país um clima e uma terra que é favorável. O projeto que nós estamos a implementar não visa apenas distribuir as bombas, visa também introduzir algumas técnicas agrárias que vão facilitar o aumento da produção. Com essas tecnologias, junto com o sistema de rega, eu acredito que vamos conseguir melhorar a produção e a produtividade. Como eu disse, a condição de Cabo Delgado é particular por conta dos ataques dos insurgentes, mas também é particular por conta da exposição às mudanças climáticas. Então, o projeto também tem uma componente de fortalecer a resiliência comunitária para que as famílias possam estar mais preparadas para não ter grandes perdas em casos de choques climáticos, em casos de secas, em casos de cheias ou em casos de ciclones. E também temos uma outra componente que vai aliar-se a esta componente agrária, que é de promoção de treinamentos profissionais para jovens. Gostaria aqui de evidenciar que o projeto vai focalizar como grupo-alvo nos jovens. Em Moçambique, acho que mais de 60% dos produtores são idosos, na maior parte até, pessoas mais adultas, porque são poucos os jovens que têm interesse na área agrária. Mas o interesse, o fraco interesse, muitas das vezes, é pela forma como a agricultura é feita. Enxada de cabo curto, poucas tecnologias, elevado custo de importação dos insumos agrários. Então, isso tudo contribui para desencorajar muitos dos jovens que querem ver resultados rápidos e imediatos. Então, acreditamos que com a introdução dos sistemas de regas e as tecnologias que vamos promover ao longo do projeto, vamos conseguir atrair mais jovens para o setor agrário e vamos conseguir manter eles lá e, com a força dos jovens, impulsionar ainda mais a produção. Então, quero desejar a Kickstart em particular sucessos com esta nova máquina, com esta nova tecnologia e pedir aqui a todos os presentes que abracemos a causa, né? Vamos colaborar para que juntos possamos contribuir para a melhoria da produção e produtividade no país. Então, muito obrigada a todos e a todas.
Nosso muito obrigada à doutora Márcia Costa, representante da ActionAid e diretora de programas nesta instituição. É uma boa nova saber que esta tecnologia já chega a trazer suporte a pessoas que realmente precisam, conforme a doutora Márcia esteve aqui a dizer, as pessoas que vão receber estas máquinas são refugiados, particularmente por causa de terrorismo. Nós, moçambicanos principalmente, sabemos que Cabo Delgado está a ser vítima de terrorismo já há alguns anos e grande parte da população teve que passar a condição de refugiado. Então, este projeto que é posto em prática pela ActionAid vai dar suporte a estas famílias usando as nossas bombas Kickstart Moneymaker Pump. In short, what Ms. Marcia Costa, she's the program director for ActionAid, was saying is that fruit and vegetable is going to be more and better produced in Cabo Delgado and by people who are now victims of terrorism. In Cabo Delgado, northern Mozambique, we have been facing for the last years situations such as terrorism, and to some extent also we did have Cyclone Kenneth a couple of years ago, which worsened the situation in that part of the country because there were people already suffering the consequences of terrorism, and they also had other negative consequences of the changes. The core idea of Kickstart, just like we said, is to improve livelihoods and to guarantee that everybody has a better life. So this support by ActionAid is very welcome. Our next presentation is going to be by Mr. Sergio Osaka. He's the country director for AFAP. Mr. Sergio, por favor.
Bom dia a todos. Eu chamo-me Sérgio Saka. Estou aqui em representação da African Fertilizer and Agribusiness Partnership. Vamos desculpar, eu não sou muito abonado às cordas vocais. Sim, a FAP foi aqui convidada para falar um pouco sobre a sua experiência e parceria com a Quickstart, principalmente no que concerne ao uso das bombas manuais Moneymaker. Pode ir, se faz favor? Sim. Uma breve introdução sobre o que é a FAP. A FAP é African Fertilizer Agribusiness Partnership. É uma organização não governamental que foi estabelecida no âmbito do CADAP, com vista a desenvolver mercados permanentes e sustentáveis de insumos e tecnologias agrícolas, principalmente aos pequenos produtores. Foi fundada em 2012, tanto como uma organização independente e sem fins lucrativos, mas depois evoluiu para uma organização social e dinâmica, prestadora de serviços para um conjunto de clientes e parceiros, tanto do setor público, privado ao nível nacional, internacional, continental. Temos presença em 14 países da África, temos a sede em Joanesburgo, África do Sul, e a subsede em Nairobi. Moçambique é um dos países com representação. Estamos registrados como uma organização não governamental internacional desde 2012 e temos estado a intervir em pilares estratégicos que incluem, por favor, o desenvolvimento de redes de fornecimento, distribuição e retalho de insumos agrícolas melhorados e tecnologias de produção agrícola, a criação de demanda para o uso de insumos melhorados e tecnologias de produção agrícola, o desenvolvimento de redes de comercialização de produtos agrícolas, assumindo que há de haver, com o uso de insumos, há maior produção, logo temos de assegurar que haja mercado para os produtos agrícolas. Mas temos estado também a desenvolver serviços financeiros acessíveis para as pequenas e médias empresas com que trabalhamos. Trabalhamos com o Ministério da Agricultura, temos um memorando de entendimento com o Ministério da Agricultura, onde estamos a ajudar no processo de desenvolvimento e reforma de políticas agrárias de agronegócio. Também capacitamos várias entidades na implementação de políticas, quer no setor agrário e do agronegócio, e também providenciamos serviços de inteligência de mercado no setor agrário e do agronegócio. Este é o nosso modelo de intervenção. Eu não me vou debruçar sobre este modelo porque estou aqui para falar da nossa parceria com a Quickstart, senão íamos levar tempo estar a mostrar como é que nós atuamos no mercado. Nós somos um ator de sistema de mercado. As nossas intervenções versam-se necessariamente pelo sistema de mercados por causa da sustentabilidade das nossas intervenções. Por favor. A parceria com a Quickstart. Bom, esta parceria começou em 2020, no âmbito da implementação de um projeto designado Segurança Alimentar através da adaptação climática e resiliência no centro de Moçambique. O projeto também, entre aspas, designado FAR. E depois tivemos uma consolidação ainda maior quando implementamos o projeto de transferência de tecnologias agrícolas através de sistemas de mercado. E estes dois projetos foram financiados pela Embaixada da Suécia. A nossa parceria basicamente tem como objetivo aumentar o acesso e o uso de tecnologias de irrigação melhoradas e de baixo custo pelos pequenos produtores, o nosso principal grupo-alvo. E tudo isto como um mecanismo para o aumento da produção, produtividade agrícola e o rendimento do pequeno produtor. E esta parceria versa-se basicamente em estabelecimento de campos de demonstração e transferências de tecnologia de irrigação de baixo custo, a capacitação dos produtores, comerciantes de insumos agrícolas e agentes de extensão no uso, manuseamento e manutenção dos equipamentos de irrigação, o desenvolvimento de toda a cadeia de fornecimento de insumos agrícolas, acoplada também ao fornecimento do equipamento de irrigação, e também fazemos a ligação de mercado entre as ligações comerciais entre os distribuidores deste equipamento de irrigação, os comerciantes de insumos agrícolas que temos estado a desenvolver e os pequenos produtores. Tudo que é tecnologia é bom quando é acessível e quando está disponível aos pequenos produtores. Então, se não existirem canais permanentes, por mais que demonstramos essas tecnologias e os produtores apreciem essas tecnologias, se não houver um canal permanente de fornecimento desta tecnologia, então é melhor esquecer. Alguns exemplos, nós formamos cerca de 1.500 produtores de Manique, Sofala e Manica, que era a zona específica do programa, como eu disse, em técnicas de uso desta tecnologia. Temos aqui grupo de produtores diversos, alguns agregados em associações, outros individuais, e quisemos até demonstrar que uma mamana com um bebê nas costas pode muito bem manejar uma bomba, porque é simples, é fácil de usar e é fácil de fazer a manutenção, desde que esteja disponível. Penso que é uma mais-valia para os produtores. E o nosso testemunho está mesmo relacionado com atividades que nós implementamos desde 2020 e vimos resultados por conta disso. Se faz favor. Aqui temos também uma continuação da capacitação de produtores. Temos, por um lado, a capacitação por si só, por outro lado, temos também a demonstração, não é, permanente, que ajuda os produtores a assimilar. Estamos a falar de uma tecnologia nova. Tudo que é mudança de comportamento, que é transferência de tecnologia, precisa de uma exposição permanente. Os produtores devem ser expostos a estas tecnologias de uma forma permanente, de forma que possam ir assimilando a mesma com o tempo. Se faz favor. Por outro, como eu disse, é preciso assegurar que a tecnologia esteja disponível ao produtor. E esteja disponível muito próximo de onde o produtor está. Se o produtor tem de procurar distâncias para ir buscar, para ir comprar insumos, ir buscar um determinado tipo de tecnologia, então esquece, não faz sentido, vale a pena ficar e continuar digamos, a usar os métodos antigos. Mas se nós queremos que o produtor use estas tecnologias, para além de expô-los à mesma através de transferência de tecnologia, as demonstrações, temos de assegurar que estas estejam disponíveis para compra em lojas próximo do produtor. E como temos estado a desenvolver redes de comerciantes de insumos agrícolas pelo país, e neste projeto em especial, nós integramos estes comerciantes de insumos agrícolas, digamos, no pacote de formação, para assegurar que haja uma oferta permanente da tecnologia. Aqui, acho que toda a gente, a maior parte das pessoas devem conhecer, o Silvano esteve aqui, é uma sessão de formação de comerciantes retalhistas de insumos agrícolas. Esta formação foi no Chimoio. Portanto, para além da formação teórica, nós usamos muito a componente prática, porque permite com que as pessoas não só adquiram conhecimento teórico e ambíguo, mas também possam meter as mãos na massa, como se diz na gíria. Podemos ver as imagens à direita, depois embaixo, a demonstração prática e também à direita. Por favor. Uma das grandes limitantes que nós vemos no desenvolvimento das redes de fornecimento de insumos agrícolas é que formamos comerciantes de insumos agrícolas. Podemos encontrar um mecanismo para ajudá-los a ter uma infraestrutura melhorada para a acomodação dos insumos e equipamentos. Mas depois continua aquele fosso de ligação, porque um retalhista deve estar integrado a uma rede, digamos, de um distribuidor e um distribuidor subsequente integrado a uma rede de um fornecedor. Então, o que nós tentamos fazer no processo de desenvolvimento da cadeia toda de fornecimento de insumos agrícolas, para além da capacitação dos comerciantes de insumos agrícolas, nós também fazemos a sua integração na rede dos fornecedores ou distribuidores de insumos agrícolas. Fazemos isso não só com a componente digamos, não só com equipamento de irrigação, mas principalmente com os principais insumos. Estou a falar das sementes melhoradas, os fertilizantes. Bom, muita gente não gosta de ouvir falar de fertilizantes, então a gente muda a tônica e diz sementes melhoradas, os pacotes de nutrição. Muitos não gostam de ouvir pesticidas e dizemos pacotes de proteção das plantas. E temos um pacote completo: a semente melhorada, o pacote de nutrição e o pacote de proteção. A tecnologia de irrigação permite que, usando estes três elementos, o produtor produza todo o ano com altos rendimentos, aumentando assim a produtividade, e o que ainda anima mais é o dinheiro no bolso. Pode recuar, se faz favor. Aqui temos um exemplo claro de uma assinatura de contratos entre fornecedor e comerciante de insumos agrícolas. Com este pacote de contratos, o comerciante de insumos agrícolas passa a integrar a rede de distribuição da Moneymaker, portanto, passa a integrar a rede da Formex, e por conta disso, ele tem acesso às bombas a crédito rotativo. E para além disso, depois da capacitação e assinatura dos contratos, nós entregamos kits, alguns kits, para que os próprios comerciantes de insumos agrícolas possam fazer demonstrações com os produtores, mas, por outro lado, também possam ter pelo menos duas ou três amostras para venda e, a partir daí, usar o esquema rotativo de compra e venda juntamente com, nesta ligação comercial com os fornecedores. Se faz favor. Do lado esquerdo, podemos ver, depois de uma sessão completa de formação, assinatura dos contratos, os comerciantes de insumos agrícolas levam kits para demonstração, como eu disse, mas também levam kits para amostra, para início do processo de comercialização. Antes disso, por outro, sim, à direita não se vê muito bem, acho que a luz, temos uma loja de um retalhista de insumos agrícolas, recém-apetrechada, e tem lá já um logotipo que indica que é um revendedor autorizado desta marca de bombas. O nosso lema como a FAP é parcerias, produtividade, prosperidade, e muito obrigado.
O nosso muito obrigado ao senhor Sérgio Saka, da AFAP. Well, in short, he was explaining to us about the start of the connection between Kickstart and AFAP, which has been happening since 2020. And in order to guarantee that people have access to the pump, we need to guarantee that they exist and they are close to the people. So this is what AFAP is doing in Mozambique, guaranteeing that people have access to Kickstart pumps close by. And of course, you can have a pump but not know how to use. So they also guarantee that people have access and have knowledge on how to use these pumps anywhere and how to pass this knowledge. I was talking about Central Mozambique, where they have been working for the last years, more than 1,500 farmers already trained regarding the money maker, regarding the Kickstart products. And one of the things that I think might have caught your attention is that it was showing us that how practical Kickstart products are. We have a mother with a baby on her back working with one of our pumps. It guarantees that, just like we were saying before, gender equality, and to guarantee that everybody can use that pump in any condition. And this is part of the work being done by AFAP. Our next, em português, a AFAP estava aqui a explicar que tem trabalhado especificamente no centro de Moçambique, nas províncias de Manica e Sofala, em coordenação com Kickstart, e que há mais de 1.500 agricultores que já foram formados na senda desta parceria. A ideia é não só ter as bombas, mas saber como usar e passar esse conhecimento. Não adianta nós termos bombas à venda e não sabermos para que servem e quais são as facilidades de uso. Então, o trabalho que eles têm estado a fazer, entre outras coisas, é garantir que há bombas perto das pessoas e que as pessoas, de facto, estão a fazer uso dessas bombas. Well, our next guest here is going to be Miss Maria Olivaio, representative of Dorcas, and she's going to be talking to us also about what they are doing in Mozambique.
Good morning, everyone. Forgive me, but I'm going to be speaking in English. I feel more comfortable in English as compared to Portuguese. My name is Mary Roberto. I'm working for Dorcas Mozambique, based here in Maputo. Dorcas Mozambique is a non-governmental Christian organization. We started operating in Mozambique from the year 2000. And we assist vulnerable people and contribute to their improved well-being through interventions in early recovery, resilient livelihoods, WASH, and food security in Manica, Sofala, and Cabo Delgado. For the benefit of this event, I'm going to focus more on the livelihood component. On the livelihood component, as Dorcas, we are working with, at the moment, with 3,000 farmers in Sofala using an approach called PIP, which stands for Integrated Farm Planning. When we started this project, we realized that there are so many farmers in Mozambique or Africa in general who are focusing on agricultural production, but the cycle of poverty still continues. We realized this because there is normally mismanagement of funds in the families. The families, they don't have concrete plans. They don't know where they want to go. So as Dorcas, we are implementing this project whereby we work farmers and we sort of convince them to draw a vision plan. So in this vision plan, the farmers, they tell us where they see themselves in 5 years' time. So if they draw this plan, then they draw their action plan. To reach where they want to go, what is it that they are going to do? So we encourage them to develop different income-generating activities. Agriculture is one of the main activities. So in doing this, we also partnered with Kickstart organization, where we are working with farmers who are doing horticulture and raising chicken and other agricultural production. So in 2021, we started working with Kickstart, and we managed to help some of our farmers to purchase these irrigation pumps. From the experience we have, our beneficiaries or produtores, they like the pumps because they found out that the pumps are efficient, the pumps are user-friendly, they are easy to assemble. Anyone can assemble, even their children can assemble these pumps. The pumps are also durable and have a low maintenance cost, and it also helps them to have water to irrigate their farms during all the year. So in doing this, we have found that partnering with Kickstart is helping us to reach our end goals, which is improved food production and increased income in all the households in Nyamatanda. We are also now implementing the second phase of our project, whereby we are going to work with 6,500 families, and we hope to continue to work with Kickstart and provide more pumps to the farmers, though we won't be giving them at 100%, but it will be a partnership. We'll be contributing with some percentages. So I think it is good to work with Kickstart so that we all reach our end goals of improved food security and income and increased incomes in our households. I think with the experience we also have, we found that using these pumps, they really work best in areas where there is water, mostly during the rain season. Because right now, if you go to Nyamatanda and you are taking the water from a river, we found that it's still a little bit of a challenge, because when the farmers are trying to pump water from the river, it's only air coming out because now there is low levels of water. So I think we also need to look at some other alternatives. I think maybe with this new other pump, we are also going to try to see how it works best. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mary. And She was explaining to us that there are at least 6,500 families in central Mozambique, specifically in Yamatanda, Sofala province, benefiting from this partnership between her organization, Dorcas, and Kickstart. And this means that these people have access to support by both organizations. Dorca works in providing support to farmers to guarantee that they have a specific plan of what they are going to reach and how they are going to reach it. So the idea behind the collaboration with Kickstart is to guarantee that people not only have access to material and to tools, but also have better production. Em geral, são mais de 6.500 famílias em Yamatanda, centro de Moçambique, província de Sofala, que estão a ter acesso aos resultados desta parceria entre a Kickstart e a Dorcas, e estas pessoas estão a ter acesso não só à bonificação dos preços das bombas, mas também à capacitação em termos de como desenhar projeto e ter objetivos alcançados. Well, this is actually almost the end of the presentation by our partners. We are now inviting Mr. Bernardino Cossa, Project Manager for Plan International.
Bom dia a todos. Antes de começar, pedir para que todos olhemos para esta imagem em particular. Quando vejo para esta imagem, ou quando olho para esta imagem, eu vejo raparigas sorrindo. Isso significa o quê? É o que as bombas da Moneymakers trouxeram como mudança para estas famílias e aquelas comunidades. Eu estou aqui para falar da parceria entre Plan International e a Kickstart. A parceria Kickstart e Plan International vem de um fundo flexível que a Plan recebeu em 2019. Sentamos a equipe de gestão para poder analisar o que é que vamos fazer com este fundo. E a nível do distrito de Mogovolas, que é o distrito onde estamos a implementar a maior parte do programa, ou na altura estávamos a implementar a maior parte dos programas a nível da província de Nampula, decidimos que íamos apoiar na componente de água, saneamento, mas restou um fundo e nós dissemos o seguinte: o que é que vamos fazer com este valor? Sentamos com o administrador e alguns diretores distritais e decidimos que haveríamos de apoiar na componente da agricultura. Decidimos que haveríamos de comprar ou adquirir bombas, motobombas, desculpa, mas pelo número de beneficiários, assim como os custos de operação, seria muito caro. Porque teríamos que não só adquirir as bombas, depois as próprias comunidades que a Plan International trabalha com elas, são comunidades que não têm fundos para poder sustentar aquelas bombas. É daí que o diretor do SIDAI disse que não, existem umas bombas que são de baixo custo. Procuramos a Kickstart, procuramos entender mais ou menos como é que funcionavam essas bombas. Adquirimos um certo número de bombas e pelo número de bombas tivemos um pacote também de treinamento sobre negócios. Aí é onde começou a nossa parceria Kickstart e Plan International. Na altura, a Plan International tinha 27 comunidades que estavam a operar a nível do distrito de Mogovolas, na componente de patrocínio e educação de primeira infância. Treinamos comitês de gestão, porque tanto a nível da implementação das nossas atividades, nós tínhamos dificuldades em fornecer lanches para aquelas crianças que estavam nos centros ICD. E decidimos que, apoiando os comitês de gestão que são responsáveis para poder manter os centros ICD, poderíamos garantir que as crianças tivessem um lanche e não houvesse nenhuma interrupção. Treinamos os comitês, eram 27 comitês, totalizando 810 pessoas, desculpa. Depois do treinamento, as próprias comunidades perguntaram-nos:
deram-nos as bombas, treinaram-nos. E agora? Nós já temos as bombas, o que é que vamos fazer com elas? Não temos dinheiro para comprar os insumos. Adquirimos insumos, demos a eles. Iniciamos com as atividades. Só que, infelizmente, entramos em 2020 e tivemos a situação da pandemia. E ficamos totalmente desconectados com eles, porque não podíamos manter aquela proximidade com as comunidades e que a nossa interação tinha de ser remota. Mas, quando houve o relaxamento das medidas e começamos a entrar nas comunidades para perceber, o espanto é que as comunidades não pararam de produzir. Chegamos nas comunidades e encontramos que eles antes tinham uma visão de agricultura para a panela, ou seja, agricultura de subsistência. Eles não tinham aquela ideia de, na base da agricultura, eles podem viver ou eles podem criar uma fonte de renda. Mas com o treinamento de agronegócio que foi ministrado pela Kickstart, foi possível abrir o horizonte deles a nível da comunidade, assim como perceberem que, na verdade, a mesma agricultura que era de subsistência também pode gerar renda para as suas famílias. Quando fizemos a primeira monitoria, descobrimos que as comunidades estavam a trabalhar. Mas depois já tivemos um outro problema. Com aquele tempo de paragem, calha na altura em que alguns produtos já estão a ser colhidos. E eles diziam, nós temos tanta comida, o que é que vamos fazer com essa comida toda? A nossa dieta alimentar não é repolho. A nossa dieta alimentar não é beterraba. Vocês nos trouxeram beterraba, nos trouxeram repolho, nos trouxeram cenoura. Nós não estamos habituados a comer isto. O que é que nós podemos fazer? Foi aí onde, com a ideia do representante da Kickstart a nível da província de Nampula, disse que não, vamos criar links, redes, para poder difundir aquilo que eles estão a produzir. E a nível dos distritos ou nas comunidades onde estamos a operar, temos lá os oficiais de campo que estão a trabalhar. Com o apoio deles, ajudaram-nos a fazer o escoamento. Para aqueles que tinham uma produção de larga escala, apoiamos em termos de transporte para poder escoar aqueles produtos para os mercados. Hoje em dia, a nível da província de Nampula, temos produtores que estão a usar as bombas moneymakers e são eles alguns que levam produtos para o mercado grossista do Aresta, que para nós aqui em Maputo é o nosso chipamanino, ou o mercado grossista do Zimpeto. Hoje em dia temos produtores lá na comunidade que estão a fazer isso. Temos produtores que estão a tirar beterraba sem exagero, com 1 quilo, 1,5 kg em termos de peso, uma única beterraba. A nível da própria comunidade, temos produtores que até já são conhecidos. Para a questão de pessoas que têm problemas como é que posso dizer, tem falta de sangue, são recomendados. Vai ter com o senhor Nação na comunidade de Ixi, ele é produtor de beterraba. Ele, o que é que faz? Além de produzir a beterraba, ele não exporta ou não manda toda a beterraba para comercializar. Ele esmaga a beterraba, retira o suco e fornece às comunidades. Para aqueles que têm problemas de sangue, vão lá, adquirem aquele sumo de beterraba que ajuda também a garantir que rapidamente a pessoa recupere em termos de sangue. E só para finalizar, dizer que a nossa parceria com a Kickstart não só foi para a própria comunidade, nós como plano não trabalhávamos na área da agricultura, mesmo hoje, nós não trabalhamos com foco na área da agricultura. O nosso foco é proteção à criança e patrocínio. Mas porque nós estamos a apoiar as comunidades, nós acabamos abrindo o nosso campo de visão, que na verdade, a nível da comunidade, não é só o patrocínio, não é só o child protection, mas porque nós estamos a trabalhar com desenvolvimento comunitário, nós devemos abrir o nosso horizonte. Hoje em dia, a Plan International está a operar na área de água e saneamento, a Plan International está a operar na área de agricultura, na área de educação, mas no final de tudo isso partiu daquela visão com a Kickstart. Hoje em dia, nós no início tínhamos 27 comunidades quando iniciamos a nossa parceria com a Kickstart, mas hoje, a nível do distrito de Mogovolas, temos 69 comunidades. O curioso é que as comunidades novas provêm da iniciativa comunitária. Isso quer dizer o quê? as comunidades vizinhas iam vendo e percebendo que, afinal de contas, nas outras comunidades está a haver desenvolvimento, está a haver mudanças. E eles foram se organizando, procuravam saber de outras comunidades, como é que vocês fazem? Como é que vocês fizeram? Então, eles organizavam-se e até fomos encontrar que algumas comunidades já estavam a usar as bombas moneymakers, mas eles não tinham. E nós perguntávamos, aonde é que vocês adquiriram? Disseram que não. Como temos comunidades vizinhas, nós vamos pedir emprestado a bomba, usamos aqui e fazemos sistema de rotatividade e escalas. Então, hoje estamos com 69 comunidades e essas comunidades foi graças mesmo da parceria com a Plan e a Kickstart. Obrigado.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bernardino Costa from Plan International. Now, what he was sharing with us was not only a story of partnership, but was also a story of community success. He was saying that there are 69 communities working with Plan International, whose focus is not agriculture specific, but is empowerment of community, mostly when it comes to girls. So he was explaining to us that before the pandemic started, they were working to guarantee that the communities they work in were were producing and having better nutrition. One of the top priorities was to provide meals for children. But when they started providing these pumps, moneymaker pumps, they faced the pandemic, and everybody knows what happened during the pandemic. We had to close many things, and support was short, and expectations from Plan International were that these processes would start. But when this ended and when they went back, they realized that there were extreme stories of success back in northern Mozambique, because people did not stop working. When they went back, they realized that people already used these technologies thanks to the training they received before the pandemic, thanks to the tools they received also from this partnership between Plan International and also Kickstart. So what he's saying is that people said, okay, we have produced and we have achieved the point in which we are producing, but we are not going to use all of our production. For example, we have beetroots, we have cabbage. What can we do? So Silvano here is one of the members of the team that was presented some time ago, and he suggested on behalf of Kickstart that there should be links between community and also the people that would like to receive this. So what's happening now is that Moneymaker and also Plan International and Kickstart are not only working towards training and production, but are now already supporting processing of this food. There are people, just like he said, producing more than they need, and some people have become references. There are people, just like he said, producing a beetroot with more than 1 kilogram. So I don't think most of us have seen a beetroot with 1 kilogram. So it's quite interesting because they're processing, they are selling not only the things that they're getting there, but they're also processing. So it's not only a story of partnership, but also a story of success even after a pandemic. Actually, this is a gate that we are going to open for our next presentations, which are going to be by 2 farmers who also work with Moneymaker pumps. But before we go to our next presentation, a quick resume in Portuguese. O senhor Bernardino Costa, da Plan International, estava a falar da cooperação que existe entre a Kickstart e a Plan International, que a princípio não trabalha com agricultura, mas sim com empoderamento das sociedades e principalmente trabalhando com meninas. No início, o trabalho era referente ao oferecimento de refeições às crianças, mas isso foi antes da pandemia, onde, graças ao trabalho entre essas 2 instituições, houve formação e algumas pessoas tiveram acesso às bombas, mas depois da pandemia a Plan International pensava que esse processo podia não ter tido sucesso devido àquela paragem, mas quando eles voltaram lá, perceberam que as comunidades não pararam de trabalhar, formaram novas associações e têm agora sistemas onde conseguem trabalhar em conjunto para produzir. Isto é uma das histórias de sucesso da Kickstart, em coordenação, neste caso, com a Plan International. Eu acho que esta é a melhor altura também para nós chamarmos o outro lado da moeda, porque we have been talking about people that have been providing, but who is receiving? What is the story at the end of this line? This is the time in which we are going to invite our farmers. Two of them are just sitting right there. And vou convidar agora o Sr. Justino para aproximar-se e vai contar-nos a sua história de sucesso.
Meu nome é Justino Bauk, presidente aqui em Maputo, agricultor, no distrito Cambuquane. No distrito Cambuquane, Bairro do Jardim, Associação Sombra Desejada no Bairro do Jardim. Bom, eu estou aqui na questão de que comprei esta máquina de irrigação quando vieram nos apresentar em 2017. Eu gostei da máquina, então chamei o senhor Silvano, veio comprar. Desde que comprei aquilo ali, quase todas as coisas minhas estão a andar bem. E também me ajuda muito. Diminuiu um bocadinho de pessoal para trabalhar com eles. Eu consigo produzir bem. E também, outra coisa, aquilo eu consigo regar. Os 420 canteiros que tenho, consigo regar em 2 horas de tempo. E a produção está a andar. Quase é isso que eu estou aqui e também agradeço por estar aqui hoje. E pedir também aqui na cidade de Maputo, porque aqui na cidade de Maputo acho que sou eu sozinho, no Cambuquane, que tenho a máquina. Se alguém me visse também ia comprar, é muito bom. Obrigado.
Thank you very much, Mr. Justino Baus. Now, Mr. Justino Baus is a resident here in Maputo City, and he has almost 1 hectare of land. According to what he was telling us before, he was present during work by Kickstart when they were showing one of our former pumps, not exactly this one. They were showing how to work and to use that pump. And at that exact moment, he realized that it was cheap enough to be acquired. And just like we said, moneymaker pumps are lightweight, so it's easy to carry them. So he decided to contact Kickstart and to have access to one of our pumps, and he guarantees that work has never been better. We know, I had a conversation with him before, and he was just praising Kickstart and Moneymaker about what excellent work and what support they have provided. He, his wife and family are now have subsistence from not only, they are producing and also selling. Therefore, they have food, but they also have money, which is the core idea of this money maker pump, just like we said before, is to provide people with a possibility of having money, because we need money to live. If you need to get transport, you need money. You're not going to pay with a cabbage, certainly. So you're going there and you're going to sell things and you're going to get money. So he was sharing with us the experience that he had access to a pump in 2017. And up until today, it's been 6 years. When he got the pump, he said that he got the pump and all the supplies necessary and extra tools. It's been 6 years, and he has never needed to fix anything on that pump. So I think it's a great deal for somebody who has been working for more than 6 years with one pump. We are going to have one more farmer here. O senhor Justino Baús estava aqui a explicar algumas coisas que ele talvez possa ter deixado de fora de testemunho. Ele explicou que teve acesso à bomba Moneymaker em 2017. Depois de participar numa apresentação como tem sido feitas noutros lados do país, e ele decidiu adquirir a bomba em 2017. É uma bomba que veio já, não só ela, mas com alguns materiais extra que foram oferecidos para o caso da bomba precisar de algum tipo de reparo, porque a Moneymaker e também a Kickstart tentam enfatizar que o agricultor deve ter o material e ter a maior capacidade de independência possível, o que significa que se algo tiver algum problema, ele vai ser capaz de consertar. Mas ele diz que nos últimos 6 anos ele nunca precisou de fazer nenhum conserto à bomba que ele adquiriu em 2017 e a produção nunca esteve melhor, o que significa que não só consome, mas também vende o que produz. Bem, na mesma senda, podemos continuar com o nosso segundo testemunho, que será trazido pela senhora Aida Mate, que também aproxima-se ao palco.
Mais bom dia a todos. Eu estou aqui a falar sobre a máquina. Eu gostei muito com essa máquina a partir de 2021. Sou produtor de Xongweni, Gaza, Associação de Poyombo. Casa Agrária, Poyombo, Distrito Xongweni. Sou produtor de Gaza. Produzo muito com essa máquina. A única coisa que gostei, essa máquina não tem problema de nada, não gasta nada, nem combustível. Não há aquela máquina de solar que precisa de sol, com aquela máquina de combustível, nada. Agora já estamos a produzir quiabo, pepino, esqueci muito de trazer quiabo para distribuir todas essas pessoas. Gostoso. Estamos a produzir mesmo em Poyombo. Essa máquina, a única coisa que gostei, não precisa de ajuda. Só desmonta e carrega para casa. E montar, não precisa de 30 minutos para montar. Não precisa de ajuda. Desmonta e monta para casa, não precisa de guarda, nada. Só guarda a casa e leva para a machamba e desmonta e montar para casa. É a única coisa que gostei. E tem 50 metros de tubo, mas para montar e aumentar não tem problema. Muito gostoso, gostei muito, agradecer.
Well, we are very happy. We are extremely happy. It's a shame that she could not bring us some okra. She said that she's been producing okra and many other vegetables through the use of the Moneymaker pumps. They are lightweight, just like we said. She can carry them from home to work and vice versa. And this is something that guarantees that she sleeps safely because she knows that she has a pump back at home. And also it's lightweight, just like we said, very, very affordable. And she was explaining also that she herself is able to make alterations, for example, adding the size of the, oh my God, I forgot the word for English, tubo, the pipe, thank you, of the pipe, and to guarantee that she's going to be producing. It's just a shame, really, that we were not able to taste some of the okra that she was planning to bring to Maputo. She is based in southern Mozambique, but not here in Maputo, in Gaza province. So it's maybe a 2-3 hour trip in order to arrive where she lives. Estamos muito felizes infelizmente não podemos ter acesso ao quiabo que ia trazer para nós. But we are sure that Kickstart is surely going to host another event, and we are going to request our okra to come from Gaza, surely. So I'm hoping that at this moment of our event, some questions have now been formed in your heads. I certainly have or two questions of my own. This is the part of the event that is going to be led by my colleague Silvano Zengueia, which is going to join us shortly here. So I would like you to start preparing your questions about the Moneymaker Pump. I myself have one more question to add to my portfolio of questions. With all that you learned here, what is possible to do, or what is the possibility of using a money maker pump to improve your business, your farm, or anything else? It's also one of those questions that is going to get you a gift. A minha pergunta que fica aqui, valendo prêmio também, é: o que podemos fazer com a bomba da Money Maker para garantir que temos futuro mais brilhante? Como é que podemos usar esta? Junta-se à minha primeira questão. Quantos % de África são atualmente irrigados? No fim, vamos entregar 3 presentes para as pessoas que responderem a estas perguntas. Mr. Silvano, you can now join us to give us the support.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning, bom dia. Agora, se alguém tem alguma questão, nós vamos responder. Estou aqui com meus superiores aqui. Todas as questões, se vocês têm, eles vão me ajudar a responder. Okay. Right. One thing that we wanted to share with you is this event is being streamed live. So can I ask you to help us to share the link, the YouTube link, with the friends who did not manage to come here, and also maybe the workmates who did not manage to come here, so that at least they can watch in the comfort of their offices or their homes. So the link is Programa de Lançamento da Bomba Moneymaker Starter.
Sim, como ele estava a dizer, o nosso evento está a ser transmitido ao vivo na plataforma YouTube. Podemos colocar as palavras Programa de Lançamento da Bomba Moneymaker para as pessoas que não estiverem aqui presentes e aquelas que não puderam chegar ou chegar a tempo. Por favor, partilhem com amigos, com colegas, para garantirmos que esta mensagem chegue cada vez mais longe. Please share this YouTube link with your friends and people who were not able to be in this event now. It's a programa de lançamento da bomba Moneymaker. It's a launching of the Moneymaker pump in Mozambique. If somebody use any of these keywords, he will be able to access to our live stream. Thank you.
Posso começar com Dona Carla?
Bom dia, mais uma vez, obrigada. Bem, a minha questão é que nós, há anos anteriores, já tivemos muitas bombas destas, mas, infelizmente, nem todas tiveram a melhor aplicação, porque eram pesadas para pedalar. Então, estou a ver esta bomba, é mais leve, acredito que tenham melhorado o sistema de mecanismo para pedalar, porque na nossa agricultura nós temos muitas mulheres e é preciso ter atenção a este mecanismo. E também gostaria de saber onde é que pode se adquirir a nível da província de Maputo, porque eu estou aqui a representar a província, mas nós vamos fazer informação para todos os distritos e pode haver interessados e temos que saber indicar onde podem adquirir. Eu vi aqui no folheto que tem até Gaza, não vi província de Maputo, por isso que estou a levantar esta questão. Se temos um local aqui na província. Muito obrigada.
Tá bom, muito obrigado. Essa questão vou passar para meu superior, a senhor Washington Doja. What Dona Carla is saying, she's asking that there have been some technologies, irrigation technologies, that have been in the market, and those technologies were very hard to operate. So she's now asking whether this that we are introducing has been improved to actually be used by women and men. So maybe you can help me answer that. Charles, you can help me translate?
Thank you very much for
Muito obrigado
for the question.
pela pergunta.
Yeah, this issue of pumps being hard to be treadled.
Esse assunto das bombas serem duras a serem pederadas.
It has been an issue throughout Africa.
É caso que está em toda a África.
You find people, they buy pumps where there is no support from the supplying organization.
Encontramos que as pessoas compram as bombas e não há nenhum apoio dos fornecedores.
And when they start facing those challenges, they don't know where to run to get support.
E quando eles enfrentam esses desafios, não sabem a quem recorrer para ter o apoio.
And when you look at Kickstart, like our CEO presented,
Aí quando olhamos para Kickstart, como o nosso presidente apresentou,
we are operating in 18 countries.
Estamos em 18 países.
And this same technology we have sold more than 300,000 pumps.
E essa mesma tecnologia já vendeu mais de 300,000 bombas.
Which is on its own evidence enough that the pumps are working well.
Em si mesmo pode demonstrar que as bombas funcionam muito bem.
With the Moneymaker Max pump, which I think you are referring to for treadling.
Com as bombas Moneymaker Max, que são bombas pedestrais.
That pump is very light to use.
Aquela bomba é muito leve para usar.
And as Kickstart, we've taken years and time to develop and improve it.
E a Kickstart levou anos para tentar desenvolver e melhorar a bomba.
And the good thing, we have a farmer here who just gave a testimony.
E a boa coisa é que temos alguns produtores cá que puderam dar os seus testemunhos.
Yeah, the lady from Gaza province.
E ele já vem da província de Gaza.
She's using that same
Ela
technology.
também vem da província de Gaza e tem estado a usar essa bomba.
Yeah. Then besides that, what we are launching today, it's even lighter than that.
E para além disso, a bomba que nós vamos lançar hoje é mais leve ainda.
And you find someone with maybe 80 years are able to use it.
E pode ser mesmo uma pessoa de 80 anos é capaz de operar nessa bomba.
Even an old woman who is 80 years old are able to use it.
Ou seja, ou mesmo uma senhora de 80 anos de idade pode operar na bomba.
Yes. Thank you. I hope I have answered you.
Obrigado. Eu espero que tenha respondido a pergunta.
Não, essa é a segunda parte.
Falta a
segunda
última,
parte
né?
Sim, sim. No, aqui em Moçambique, na zona centro e zona norte, temos nosso distribuidor, Formex. Aqui na zona sul, temos também novo distribuidor, é Global Water Solutions. São aqueles que estão a fornecer bombas aqui na zona sul. Só temos também retalhistas em província de Gaza, em Chokwe e Xongwene e Xai-Xai. Sim, sim. So, a melhor coisa é só entrar em contato comigo, eu vou indicar onde fica nosso distribuidor aqui em Maputo, se está a precisar de alguma coisa. Sim. Não sei se está claro. Ok.
Okay, thank you very much. I will speak in English. I hope that's fine. I have two questions. My first question is a bit in line with what was answered now, but I wanted to know in terms of figures. You spoke now about 300,000 pumps, which you have sold. Specifically in Mozambique, I would like to know how many pumps roughly have you been able to sell? This question maybe comes out of interest because we work a lot with solar pumps, so solar irrigation pumps, and it's interesting actually to find out that there are actually cheaper alternatives to that. So that's my first question. Second question is in relation to your distributor list. Is there still space for additional distributors? Is there a possibility for people to apply to become distributors, or you only work exclusively with these ones that are here? Again, my question is because we work a lot with service providers. We also do a lot of FBS and GAP trainings, and it would be good to know if there's the possibility to actually have people apply to become distributors of the pump. Thank you.
Maybe you can have one more question.
Thank you for this opportunity and congratulations for this innovation. The question is related to the previous pump that you promoted. We work with Kickstarter or the same project, Swiss project that was supported for northern Mozambique. So we had some problems with spare parts for that pump. I just want to know if it will be the same situation with this one that we are promoting. Or so this is my question.
Tem mais alguma questão?
Thank you. My question, I wanted to know what are the possibilities of working with smallholder farmers? I know Kickstart, as we understand, you are selling pumps. What are you also doing as an organization to help smallholder farmers? Because I know the price for one pump ranges from $80 to $100, but still that's a lot. Looking at the fact that most of our farmers are smallholder farmers, is there a possibility of Kickstart partnering with any organization, but the farmers can pay as they go, like they can purchase the pumps, they can pay in installments?
Muito obrigado.
Also linked with our question, are you providing technical assistance for the farmers? Because we realize that this also is an issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know. Okay, thank you so much, Donna Fauna, from Swiss Embassy. Yeah, we have worked together in hot assembly project that is with Swiss Conduct in northern Mozambique. The issue of, I will start with the issue of spare parts. That one has been resolved. We now have distributors and agro dealers all over who are stocking spare parts. We are always trying to improve on the issue of spare parts, and our agro dealer that is stocking on spare parts, ensuring that every agro dealer has got the necessary spare parts. Then on the issue of technical assistance, yeah, we are available to give technical assistance, and we have been doing that. I think for the partners that have given speeches, we do some regular visits to to our partners, farmers, to try and look at the problems that they are facing, and then we try to resolve all the problems that we'll be facing here. Then the other question, yeah, Mr. Tom will answer the question.
Thank you very much. And I just want to highlight on the couple of questions asked. If I may say, try to respond to the issue of shortage of spare parts. I want to emphasize that part of the reason why Kickstart work with private sector partners is to ensure that there is sustainability. Sustainability can only happen when the spare parts are available, and our distributors who have these spares, and they are distributed with their retail outlets across the country, across the countries, especially in Mozambique. Our distributor currently is based in Ampula. A second one is now based in Maputo, and all their dealer networks have got the spare parts. The other question that was asked, what more is Kickstart doing other than selling the pump? Thank you for that question. As Kickstart, as we presented, we are supporting smallholder farmers with irrigation solution so that they can do all year round farming. So we are telling farmers to take farming as a viable, profitable, and sustainable business venture like any other. For that reason, we are not only giving the pumps, but we offer a lot more. One such activities that we offer farmers is the training component. We train them on the maintenance and usage of this technology. At the same time, we give them agropreneurship training skills that equips them with the necessary required skills to take farming as a viable business. Majority of farmers actually do not keep records of their businesses, of what they do. So in the end, they do not know whether they made a profit or they made a loss. So what we are doing under agropreneurship training, we make them take farming as a profitable, viable business venture like any other. I just wanted to say that what more do we do? These pumps are costly, and our targeted farmers are poor, as you've said. They cannot afford cash. What we do as Kickstart is to work with other partners, especially the microfinance institutions, to make available credit to these farmers. So if there are willing farmers who want to access the technology but they don't have the money, we work with microfinance institutions who can give them credit. Thereafter, they pay off after the first harvest. This happens quite often in the countries that we've worked in, especially in Zambia, Malawi, Kenya, and among other countries as well. So we work with microfinance institutions as well. Again, we also offer advice to partners like you. Sometimes partners give these technologies to farmers for free. So we can also advise them to link two farmers to a pump. That means if they targeted 100 farmers, in the end they end up impacting positively on the lives of 200 more. So that's what we do. In terms of how many pumps we've sold in Mozambique, yes. In Mozambique, we've sold about 16,800 pumps, and we are continuing. And right now, we have a team in Mozambique, Kickstart team in Mozambique. So we are going to see a lot more of that number increasing. So if you see over 300 pumps sold in Mozambique, 16,800 is very small, and this because we've not had team on the ground. Now that we do, and we are engaging in this kind of forums, we are taking Mozambique as a critical and a high priority country that we want to be in. Just wanted to emphasize one more time on the question that the lady from the Ministry of Agriculture, Maputo, asked, as there are many counterfeits. And is this an improved counterfeit? No. In addition to what my colleague mentioned, Kickstart technology is distinct, and you can easily tell. Normally, in the industry, any good product must be counterfeited by those people who want to make quick money. So we are not surprised that our technology is counterfeited in other countries. That has affected us in Mozambique as well. But how do you know that this is Kickstart technology? Just to mention, in addition to what he mentioned, he said, every pump from Kickstart has got a serial number. So you just need to know, when we go for the demonstration, we'll show you where you can check. And that is the only test or confirmation you can look into any pump. If it does not have a serial number, it is not from Kickstart. Thank you. Sorry, there was a question of if we are open to distributorship. Yes, as you know, Mozambique is a big country, 3 in 1, so to speak. We are open to getting more distributors. Only then can we have this technology reach many farmers in Mozambique. So we are open, and we will be glad to discuss with any interested partner for distributorship agreement. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe to add on what she asked as well. I think you spoke about working with FBAs and like, yeah. I can give you an example of the presentation that was done by Senior Sergio Osaka. In our partnership, I think you noted that he mentioned that under the project, we have been working with around 65 agro dealers, which are under which were under the AFAP project. So that's a partnership where they also managed to rope us in so that we find we improve the supply chain of the pumps to the farmers. That the agro dealers are the ones which are very close to the smallholder farmers. So that's a process and partnership that we also we have been doing, and we are going to continue doing that. Yeah. Donna Mary, you answered, yeah? Okay. Do we still have any more questions or? Okay.
Yes, I just want to know who are the distributor in Nampula, where you are based, especially in the north, Nampula, Cabo Delgado, and Niassa, that you are working with.
Okay, the distributor in Nampula is Formex Mozambique Limitada.
Okay,
Yes.
still the same.
Yes, it's still the same. Yes, yes.
Okay, in other provinces you don't have.
It's like Formex has been dominating in the central and northern Mozambique. That is in Nampula, and that is Nampula in northern Mozambique, and also that is in central Mozambique. That's Beira, Shimoyo, and Tet.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. Dona Carla, ainda te maja. Okay, tá bom. Okay. Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much for everybody for this interaction. Just like we said, we are still live streaming on YouTube in case you want to share this event on with friends and maybe somebody who was not able to reach this venue. Well, we are going to a 2-minute summary of what has been said. First, there was a small complaint, maybe we can call it like that, about the former moneymaker pumps being heavy and not very practical for many people, mostly because we live in a country where many women work in the farms. Well, the current pumps being released today, being launched today, are slightly lighter, actually not slightly, lighter than the others, just like we said, not more than 3 kgs for sure. And just like Mr. Silvan said, they are very practical to carry, and just like we heard some people saying, you can easily transport from home to your farm and take it back and guarantee that you keep it safe. Where to find? Anywhere in the country. We do have suppliers in central, southern, and also northern Mozambique. Specifically in Nampula, we have Formex, just like Mr. Silvano was saying. But in case you need more answers, you can talk directly to him, and he will be more than happy to share with you where to have access to this pumps. How many sold? We do have more than about 17,000 sold already, and we expect this number to increase following this launching. We are open to receive people who are willing to also become distributors of the Kickstart Moneymaker pump. What are we doing to support as Kickstart and Moneymaker? We are making sure that we have easy solutions for financing and also for training of the communities and guaranteeing that everybody is going to have easy access to our material. We are also providing assistance to the people who are going to have access to our pumps and visiting regularly to guarantee that everybody is having the best performance from their machinery. In case you spot or you are willing to spot any counterfeit, it is easy. Just make sure that you confirm the number of series, and if it's not there, it's not from Moneymaker. Em português, o uso da bomba Moneymaker costumava não ser muito prático para algumas pessoas devido ao seu peso. É uma questão que foi aqui colocada, mas esta questão já foi ultrapassada. A Moneymaker que está a ser lançada hoje não pesa mais de 3 quilos. Então, queremos que seja bem mais fácil de trabalhar, mais prática de usar. Onde adquirir? Em qualquer parte do país. Temos distribuidores no norte, centro e sul, e também estamos abertos a ter mais distribuidores. Se tiver algum interesse, é só entrar em contato com o staff da Kickstart, que vai dar mais possibilidades de ter acesso. Quantas vendidas? Quase 17 mil no momento. Esperamos que com este evento muitas mais sejam vendidas. Não podemos esquecer que também há vários projetos que já estão abertos a receber estas bombas para garantir suporte às comunidades. Em questão de partes extra, primeiro nós já tínhamos dito que esta é uma bomba muito fácil de usar e que virá já com partes extra, mas para o caso de precisar mais, os nossos distribuidores estão abertos a partilhar consigo ou a dar alguma indicação e a providenciar suporte imediato. Isso sem contar que o staff da Kickstart está sempre disponível a deslocar-se às comunidades e a dar assistência técnica. Em caso de desconfiar que a sua bomba não é original, é muito fácil de descobrir, é só ir para ela e perceber se tem um número de série. Caso não seja, é uma falsificação, e pode entrar em contato conosco para assistência e nós vamos estar muito mais que disponíveis para ajudar. Onde adquirir, eu já tinha dito, em todas as partes do país, estamos abertos a receber mais pessoas para partilharem com o resto dos moçambicanos. Creio que não tenha deixado nenhuma questão de fora. I'm not sure if any of the questions went unanswered. Well, I would like now to invite once again our President and Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Peter Juma, to here introduce today's guest of honor to the public. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Once more, apologies for taking much of your time, but we really appreciate your presence and your patience. So when we did our introduction, some of you, if you are keen, you might have noticed one person didn't introduce himself. You must have been wondering, is he deaf or he doesn't speak? He speaks very much. He speaks several languages. He speaks Portuguese, English, I think Spanish, and many others that I cannot mention here. And today we are really honored among us to be with a representative from one of the greatest friends of our organization, a friend that has stood with Kickstart since its inspection, and that is USAID. Dr. Arturo Acosta comes from the Office of Education, Democracy, and Governance from USAID. Dr. Arturo has been in Mozambique for the last 4 years. He's been part of the team that developed the project that Kickstart and Action Aid is implementing in Cabo Delgado, here in Mozambique. Dr. Turo has over 30 years of experience in education, democracy, and the governance sector. A very experienced person. From Mozambique, fortunately, he'll be moving on to Congo. Previously, he has done work in Pakistan, in Ethiopia, in Ghana, among other countries. He's a very experienced person. And this work that he's done here in Mozambique, it must have been the most difficult time of his career, I guess, because it was during the COVID pandemic when they were actually designing this program. So Kickstart has this golden opportunity to be represented here by USAID, who has been a very big supporter and a partner of the organization, supporting a lot of our programs across sub-Saharan Africa. We had very big programs supported by USAID in Tanzania, in Mali, in Kenya, and now here in Mozambique. We are so pleased, Dr. Turo, and on behalf of USAID, behalf of Kickstart, we'll like you to pass our regards to the community of USAID. Without much further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Arturo Acosta to come and give his keynote address. Welcome, Dr. Arturo.
Good morning, everyone. Eu vou falar em português, vou tentar. Como o Sr. Peter diz, que passei já 4 anos em Moçambique e durante esses 4 anos aprendi uma nova maneira de ver o mundo. So desculpa, forgive me, I'm going to give the remarks in Portuguese. I hope you guys can hear me. So, I need my glasses. Excelentíssimos senhores representantes do governo, representantes da sociedade civil, representantes das agências das Nações Unidas, representantes do sector privado, representantes de embaixadas em Moçambique, minhas senhoras e meus senhores. Estamos muito contentos por estarmos aqui a testemunhar o lançamento desta bomba por Kickstart. Acreditamos que será uma mudança de jogo na vida de milhões de agricultores em todo o país e particularmente para aqueles que em Cabo Delgado enfrentam dificuldades e têm de recomeçar depois de serem expulsados ou expulsos das suas quintas e casas. A violência e a destruição, tanto do terrorismo como da catástrofe natural em Cabo Delgado, têm tido efeitos devastadores nas pessoas, lares, terras agrícolas, gado e pescas. Em resposta a estes desafios, o projeto de resiliência comunitária e empoderamento socioeconômico da juventude em Cabo Delgado, implementado pela Action Aid, em parceria com Kickstart, está a estabelecer parcerias com a comunidade empresarial, organizações locais de sociedade civil e governos distritais e provinciais para expandir oportunidades econômicas e liderança juvenil. Os jovens são o futuro e a esperança do país. Por isso, estamos a potencial de fazer a maior diferença para Cabo Delgado e para Moçambique. A USAID trabalha com os moçambicanos e o governo para criar comunidades mais fortes, mais saudáveis e mais seguras. Este projeto irá crear formação e oportunidades de trabalho para desenvolver as competências necessárias ao sucesso no empreendedorismo e emprego. Em parceria com agronegócios privados e instituições de ensino, a formação centrar-se na alfabetização financeira e em práticas agrícolas inteligentes e resilientes que permitam fontes de rendimento diversificados, particularmente para jovens e mulheres. O esforço agrícola em Moçambique está largamente dependente da chuva, o que diminui a quantidade que os agricultores podem produzir em cada estação agrícola. A bomba que aqui vemos reverterá este cenário e permitirá aos agricultores continuarem a produzir durante todo o ano e resolver os seus problemas de segurança alimentar e aumentar os seus rendimentos, a superar a pobreza que infelizmente ainda afeta muitos dos nossos companheiros nas comunidades rurais. Estas bombas são, de facto, uma lufada de ar fresco para eles. Desculpa um momentito, é um pouco calor, quente aqui. Estas bombas são, de facto, uma lufada de ar fresco para eles parar aqueles que completam a cadeia de valor da produção agrícola, aumentando não só os rendimentos a nível do agricultor, mas também para outros. A atividade do projeto de resiliência comunitária e empoderamento socioeconômico das jovens é parte da estratégia quinquenal de USAID, que dá prioridade ao norte para a assistência contínua de USAID e promoverá um Moçambique pacífico, próspero e saudável, onde os cidadãos beneficiam de maiores investimentos. Mostrando o nosso empenho na recuperação de Cabo Delgado, a USAID lançou 3 outros programas para apoiar o desenvolvimento socioeconômico e a liderança juvenil na província de Cabo Delgado. E o governo dos Estados Unidos, através da USAID, continua a ser o maior doador de assistência de emergência, fornecendo alimentos, abrigo e provisões para salvar vidas aos necessitados. Em final, a USAID acredita verdadeiramente que o maior patrimônio do país é seu povo. Os desafios são grandes, mas o espírito moçambicano de solidariedade e perseverança é maior. Os Estados Unidos estão empenhados em ajudar os moçambicanos a construir um país saudável, mais seguro e mais próspero para todos. Do povo americano ao povo moçambicano, muito obrigado e estamos juntos.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arturo. And I think this is the best way to go to our next activity, which is going to be the official launching of our Moneymaker Pump. I hope everybody here is very excited about what's going to happen in the next minutes. I would like to also invite everyone that was here to talk about the partnerships, and also gostaria de convidar os nossos agricultores mais uma vez, as pessoas que trouxeram aqui os testemunhos aqui para frente. Everybody who was here, please come back for a minute, and this is the time in which we are going to be conducting the official launching of the Moneymaker Pump. Well, I think I will call by name Ms. Marcia Costa, Mr. Sergio Saka, Miss Mary from Dorcas, and also Mr. Bernardino Costa. Mr. Silvano, please also approach. We will also have Mr. Arturo Costa, who is already here, and our President and Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Peter Juma, our Regional Partnership Manager, Mr. Pascal, and also Mr. Washington Dozua here. Everybody here in front, please. This is the time in which we are going to be launching our pump. Please, everyone, accompany us counting from 9 up until 1. This is going to be the highest point of this event, so we should all participate. Well, before this, let us take a group photo for the occasion. Well, and this is the moment I would like to request, if you don't mind, everybody to stand up for this moment so that we can come together in this, in this very important moment for the country. Peço que todos se ponham de pé para este momento, para que possamos fazer a contagem regressiva para o lançamento da nossa bomba Money Maker. I think we can go in English. Is everybody okay with that? Yes. Okay. 9, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. And this is the official launching of our Moneymaker Pump in Mozambique. We hope, just like this fireworks, this is going to be everywhere in Mozambique, just like it has been all over Africa. Thank you very much for being part of this event, and thank you very much for participating at this moment. My colleague Charles Bulea is coming next to show us exactly how we are going to be using this pump. This is the first time we are going to be doing this, and the first of so many times. Well, this is going to happen actually outside in order to everybody have access to this, and also to understand better how this is going to be used by our communities. Please, just following these pictures, we are going to go outside to guarantee that we are going to see how the pump works. Depois destas fotos, podemos ir para o exterior, onde vamos ter nossa bomba experimentada e também vamos perceber como é que ela funciona. Então, podemos... To the door so that people can follow you. Peço que sigamos o Sr. Tom ali com o casaco castanho para percebermos como é que a nossa bomba Moneymaker vai funcionar. podemos deixar as nossas coisas porque retornaremos aqui à sala. Vamos só... é só seguir o Sr. Tom de casaco ali na porta. Let's just follow Mr. Tom there at the door, and we are going to be able to see how this pump is going to work. You don't need to take your belongings because we are going to return soon to this venue.